He is in a leadership path for the district. He's going to deliver reading while driving. Please help me welcome our Lieutenant Governor Market, Mr. Rob Christensen.
Do you have too much free time on your hands? How about just enough free time? Nobody has that. No one seems to have enough free time. So what happens when you want to learn something new? When you want to catch up or get ahead? How do you do it? How do you find the time to do it? And in this day and age, it's more important than ever, isn't it, with our economy? It's important, and we need to find the time to do it. I'm going to tell you the secret to reading while driving. Now, first, we're going to talk about why we need to do that, and that is the need to keep up. I was just talking about a second ago in this economy. We need to keep up. Who remembers Arlen's contest speech, February, March of this year, called Keep on Driving? He made an analogy about driving from here to Houston and compared it to moving forward in his own life towards a master's degree and a number of other goals. And the really neat thing about that analogy was he talked about the fact that you may not make it to Houston in one stretch. You may have to stop at a rest stop. You may have to stay overnight somewhere. But once you get started, anywhere you stop, if you check the map, you're closer to where you need to go. And in life, it's just like that. I did that myself. When I was in the Air Force, I heard a plethora of excuses from folks as to why they did not want to work on their college degrees. I move too often, I have to deploy, the programs change, when I move I can't transfer credits. Some of those issues were real, some of those issues were ones I ended up dealing with myself. I found an occasion where I moved, I had 15 classes, I moved, 14 of them transferred. I could have taken 0 classes, how many would have transferred?
0.
Right? But I had 14. Those other folks had 0. Did it take a little extra effort to get to 120 plus credits? Yes, but not significantly so. I kept moving forward. Today we need to keep moving forward as well. More than ever, as our last speaker even mentioned, you never know when you're going to see a graph with your head right in the middle of it and a little red circle and a line. So you may not be here next month, and you need to stay on top of your game. Brock's a good example of somebody that stays on top of his game. You don't get asked to speak at an engineering conference if you haven't been keeping up on the engineering. You definitely need to be on top of your game. And that's why he was receiving offers in a recession, not being just shown the door. The American Library Association tells us that 58% of Americans do not read a single book after high school. And in fact, 42% don't read one after college. You'd think that number would get better for college graduates, but it doesn't. One of them that really blew me away, 70% of adults have not even been in a bookstore in the last 5 years. I've been in a bookstore in the past 14 hours. You can almost always find that stat for me, say within 2 days. I don't think I'd go more than a couple days without going to the bookstore personally. But it only takes 3 books, because so few people are trying to get ahead. 3 books to become an expert on any subject. Of course, now that's by default. That's because nobody else is trying. But the fact is, if you want to get ahead in the game, all you need to do is read. Read those 3 books. Getting back to the point about time, though, now you're thinking, well, Rob, that's a great idea. I think I'll go read 3 books tonight. Probably not the case. If I don't have that much free time, we already discussed that. So how do you do it? I personally like to read while driving. Now you may ask, how do I do this? Is it some magical Evelyn Wood read at the stop sign, speed reading methodology? Or do I have a projector that puts the text on the windshield for me so that I can read by looking straight ahead as I drive down the road? Or am I going to introduce you to some new space-age technology that you have not heard of before? None of the above. I'm going to talk to you about something that you have heard of before. It's called the compact disc. Everyone seen a compact disc?
Yes.
And you've seen books on CD?
Yes.
I brought this book specifically. I'm a fan of Seth Godin's. He's a marketing hero. don't know if he goes by that title or not, but he has a number of books on marketing. And one of his books that he wrote a couple of years ago, I realized I hadn't read yet. It's called The Dip. I thought, I want to read that, but I'm bogged down, I don't have time to read it. And it made me think of the advice that I came up with for tonight's speech. So I went onto iTunes. I found it for $3.95 as a download, put it on my iPod, and it took me 3 days driving to and from work. It was a shorter book, though. It wasn't quite this thick. 3 days of driving to and from work and lunch to finish that book. I still wouldn't have even got past page 4 if I'd have had it in paper copy. I just wouldn't have had the time to do it. Who has a CD player in their car? Just about everybody. Who has $40? If you don't have a CD player in your car, you can buy a really cheap boombox and sit it in the seat and play. So somebody almost lose their food. Play it while you're driving. So the technology is there for you. It's available. And it's not just books. It can be study materials. This is the Create Your Killer Keynote course by Craig Valentine. It's a CD set. There's 6 CDs. It took me more than a week to get through this one driving to and from, but it was definitely worth my time. You don't always have to do these in your home sitting at a desk. You can do them while you're driving. How much does it cost, you ask? Of course, I already told you one of the prices, didn't I? There are 3 price structures that you can use to read while driving. Number 1 is full price, buying something brand new. For instance, Malcolm Gladwell put out another book this week. He's the person that wrote Tipping Point, Outliers, Blink, very popular business books. You'd have to pay about $30 for that, full price. Wait a couple of years, get books that are a couple of years old that are still valid, like The Dip that I mentioned by Seth Godin, $3.95. Or go to your local library, where they're roughly free. Now, of course, they don't necessarily have the newest bestsellers either, but normally 1 or 2 years back. Anybody read every book up till last year? So you've got things that are new to you that you can read. Reading while driving can really benefit you in the long run. Just getting past those first 3 books on whatever subject. For me, it was marketing, to learn more about marketing. For you, it could be another phase of engineering or something new that you want to try. You know me, I'm all about the business titles, but don't be a part of that 58%. It doesn't grow, it doesn't move forward, it doesn't keep up. Pick up a book and turn the key. Mr. Toby.